Holy cow, fellas. Oh, well, now there, bud. It's Friday night. Oh, it's July 24th in the Big 2-6. And if you know, you know. Tomorrow, the rookies report. Reporting for duty at the Big 313 down in Allen Park. Lions so close. Sorry, we're running a little bit late, but it's Friday. You know, you guys just gonna have to bear with me on it, bud. But here we are. You're here. I'm there. We are plumb level and square. We're just gonna run through some quick news today, guys, and then we're gonna get into a little watch party. Gonna watch a little That's Good Sports. Who is asking the question? That is the poll question today. Are people writing Detroit off too fast? Yes, or yum, paste. Paste. I like paste. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward there, guy. So, do me a favor. Of course, I'm James with the Hat and Beard Show. Do me a favor. We're trying to get this show to 1,000 subscribers, and I need you to help. Can I get a French fry? Can I get a French fry? Can I get a share? Can I get a subscribe? Can I get a like? Can I turn that notification bell on for the guy over there on the other end of the screen so that every time Hat and Beard goes live, you get a little notification sent to your phone? That would be absolutely coolio, dude. Now that that's all the way, we're moving right along, dude. Bam, 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 bam. Rapid fire, dude. Right into the intro. We're going to get in the show.
If you can say the word good, guess what? It means you're still alive. It means you're still breathing. And if you're still breathing, well then hell, you still got some fight left in you. So get up, dust off, reload, recalibrate, re-engage, and go out on the attack.
Burping like a big guy. What a gentleman. It's Friday night. You guys, did we have a good week? Did we have a good week? Huh? I had a pretty okay week. Hopefully you had a pretty solid week. You know who's going to be having a really good week next week? That's all of us, because training camp will be underway. I know we're not through the whole offseason yet. Unless you're super dorks like me, which is totally fine, dude. Training camp doesn't really feel like, okay. I'm over here counting it down. I'm over here counting it down with you guys, and I'm the same at work, dude. I'm like, one day, rookies report. And it reminds me of my old friend, my old buddy Steve. And I was just like, man, this guy is obsessed. He would be counting down 83 days until pitchers and catchers report. 61 days until pitchers and catchers report. And I'm just like, now I'm over here like 12 hours, dude. You know what I'm saying? But we are, it feels as though we're on a ship. You know what I'm saying? We can see the land on the horizon. Just over yonder. Just way down yonder. You know what I'm saying? And all we got to do is just make it through a few more weeks. That'll be a preseason, a little preseason slop where we can get hype about camp battles that do not matter. We can argue about guys who have a 50-50 chance of even being on the roster come week 6. Okay, let's be real. That's kind of how practice squad guys go. In, out, up, down. You never know, right? And I am guilty of it, and kind of the hardcore fan base says we all fall in love with these camp warriors, these training camp battles, these preseason guys, How often does it really work out, though? Obviously TK85 is a massive exception to the rule because the legend of Tom Kennedy, old Thumb Kennedy, one of these and one of these. Every time I'm watching that guy play, it's like, golly jeepers, gee willikers, fellas. Did we somehow steal like a Julian Edelman-esque player? Is he secretly really, really good, and this is about to be a breakout for Tom Kennedy this year at the wide receiver 4 spot in Detroit? I don't know. We'll discuss all that. We got to hit some NFL news. Just quickly skimming through it. Obviously, you guys know Nic Scourton. We talked about that yesterday. Torn ACL. He got put on IR, done for the year. And the only reason I want to talk about this is kind of cool, huh? Hey, oh. There you go, Billy. UFL star Cam Gill was signed as kind of a replacement. Obviously, some movement here. The Ravens signed Chris Moore. Nobody cares. Cam Gill was signed by Carolina on Friday. He played 10 games for the Panthers in 2024, totaling 22 tackles. You know, a couple tackles a game. Obviously not, a lot of exposure, but he was there. He was most recently with the UFL's Defensive Player of the Year while with the Louisville Kings, dude. So, hey, you know me. No, I'm not too hype about the guys trying to crack into the wide receiver room here over in Detroit, but I'm over here. I root for Jake. You guys know I love me some Jake Bates. Big leg Jake Bates. The ballad of Jake Bates continues. Jacob Sailors, right? Who else we got? Nick Whiteside. You know what I'm saying? I myself, big UFL fan, look at them guys. That story, dude. Because, hey, all you need is a little break, dude. Just give me a chance. Just give me a chance. You know what I'm saying, dude? Some guys excel, so all the best of luck to Gill, Cam Gill from the UFL. Nobody cares about the Bears. Will Greer, shout out Will Greer. He retired from the NFL. Like a week ago, July 15th. He's joining Dallas's coaching staff as an offensive assistant. I like the move. I don't like the team that he's moving to, but hey, pay attention to that name. Pay attention to Will Greer. It's a guy who's going to end up being one of them hot names in like 4 or 5 years, dude. He's going to be one of them hot names. He had 2 different stints with the Cowboys as a backup quarterback, so it only kind of makes sense, But I'm telling you, he's going to be one of them guys. I'm not trying to say Kellen Moore-esque, but, it's basically doing the Kellen Moore route. You know what I'm saying? Kansas City, Patrick Mahomes. His knee is fully cleared to practice in training camp, and the team will take things day to day. Head coach Andy Reid said. He also said Rashee Rice and his knee is, quote, doing great and has been cleared to practice. Norman Lott, his knee will most likely start on the PUP list for whatever that matters. Also, Gabe Yakus did not report to camp for the New England Patriots. Vrabel told reporters that Yakus, New England's second-round pick, has not signed his rookie contract. Meanwhile, Christian Gonzalez reported to camp as he seeks a new contract. Gonzalez is expected to participate in practice as negotiations are, quote, ongoing. So, the vet, hey, Gabe Yuckus, maybe don't shit where you eat yet and take a look at the guy who was drafted in the first round and has made the absolute best of it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that Christian Gonzalez is the absolute cat's pajamas or knees upon bees, but he's pretty damn good. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Detroit, how would you feel if we had a Christian Gonzalez? You know what I'm saying? If Christian Gonzalez was our, CB1 and Reed was our CB2, how you'd feel? I think I would feel a lot more confident. So, he's no scrub-a-dub-dub. He can hop on over to the 313 tub. We are on a fucking roll today, guys. Okay, Pittsburgh signed Drew Aller. Nobody cares. Nick Vannett going back to the Sea Chickens. There you go. A bunch of bullshit moves. And really, no offense to these guys, but right now it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter. Boy, it does matter is 4 big predictions for the Detroit Lions in the Big 2-6, including a trade. What do we have here? Jeremy Reisman over at the Pride of Detroit. Before we get into that, I'm going to walk through Mad Hatter Nation and see what's going on with the chat. You guys hanging out. Of course, if you are new here and you want to get into the chat and hang out with Mad Hatter Nation, which is, in case you're wondering, you're like, what? James, what is Mad Hatter Nation? Well, my guy, when you're here watching the Hat and Beard Show, which some might say, I'm not saying it, but some people say it, is the most based Detroit Lions and NFL content on the internet. And check the comments. I'm not saying it. Others have said you got to give the people what they ask for. Okay? It's pretty simple. In a free market society, listen to what the consumer, the customer, the people paying you want. Espen, check the comments. People are calling for me. to be employed by you. They are demanding the Hat and Beard Show be brought to the 4-letter network. Now, who am I? Who am I but just a humble slot peddler on the internet to deny the people what they request? Knock on wood if you're with me, men. But back to the point at hand, if you want to get into Mad Hatter Nation, which is a bastion of sanity in an absolute sea of nonsense and tomfoolery, chicanery, some might even say dildockery, you need to subscribe to the channel. That's how you can come hang out with these guys. Like Raw, like Mr. Detroit City, like my mom. That is actually my mom. Hat's mom is actually my... It's not just somebody being weird. That is honestly my mom. And she's a cool lady. She's a cool lady. You guys, unfortunately, we don't get more day drinking morning mom. She used to show up in the morning show drunk as a skunk over there, back when we did the morning show. Hey, she's getting a little soft in her age, in the golden years. They're taking it easy in the afternoon, but, when you get older, dude, the afternoon, it's kind of like a shifting of time, you know what I mean? Like 10 a.m. to us is probably like 10 p.m. to retired folk, you know what I mean? Time really doesn't matter when you can just day drink and watch your stories. I'm just kidding, Mom. I'm just giving you shit. Brent Supreme, Raw, Rick's hanging out. What's up, Mr. Detroit City? Is it 5 o'clock free crack giveaway? Is this 5 o'clock free crack giveaway? Oh, how you think I got this suit? How you doing, Brent, dude? A little drinky poo never hurt anyone in the morning. A little drinky poo. I'm drunk enough to really, or what is it? I'm sober enough to know what I'm doing, but just drunk enough to really enjoy it. Right in the pocket, bud. I'm right in the pocket, bud. Shout out Jim Leahy, dude. Hell yeah. What was it? I was just telling Hat and Boobs. There was a short that I seen, and it was, the thing of, the meme that everybody does where it's like getting ready for the documentary of X, Y, and Z, and it said, getting ready for the documentary of how the rock pile rolled. And it was J-Rock, and he says, you know what I'm saying? Doing that J-Rock shit, dude. And I was like, oh my God. That motherfucker looks old as hell, dude. But a little drinky poo in the morning. Never hurt anybody, bud. You know what I'm saying? Oh, well, Mr. Leahy, you're drunk as a skunk. Don't forget there is a poll, you guys. Are people writing Detroit off too fast? Giving you 3 choices to pick from. Yes, which has 70% of the vote. Yes, which has 10% of the vote, and Paste, Yum, which has 20% of the vote. So, if you're writing Detroit off, well, you probably enjoy the sweet taste of Elmer's glue. The sweet, smoky taste of Elmer's glue. Is your meat needing a kick up? Get some Elmer's glue. So over here, we got 4 predictions for the Lions in the Big 2-6, you guys. Over here, Jeremy Reisman quoting Jarrett Bailey. Here we go. His number 10. So he had 61 predictions, and his number 10 prediction was the Lions are going to score 40 points in consecutive weeks. He doesn't just make this prediction. He picks the 2 games Detroit will do it against. Let's go. They have a 2-game road trip facing the Carolina Panthers and the Arizona Cardinals in front of a national audience on Sunday Night Football. Jahmyr Gibbs should go off for 3 touchdowns, while JG16 for MVP goes for 303 yards and 4 scores, defeating the Panthers 41-17. The next week against Arizona, Goff and rising playmaker Isaac Tesla hook up for 7 receptions, 88 yards, and 2 touchdowns, while the defense forces 3 takeaways in a 40-9 public execution. Oh, wow. The Panthers had a pretty average defense last year and just lost their starting linebacker for the season. They also did spend money and brought in a Jalen Phillips and Devin Lloyd. The Cardinals had one of the worst defenses in football and just hit the reset button. This writer could see that happening. I like it. I like it a lot. The number 14 pick, the Bills open new Highmark Stadium with a bang. Detroit plays the Bills in Week 2 on Thursday Night Football, and it will be the christening of Buffalo's new stadium. Bailey predicts the Lions to lose 38-24. Obviously, that's a tough matchup for Detroit, and they're currently underdogs to the Bills. But that feels like a pretty big score difference. Yeah, not to be that guy, but if that's the score, if it goes that way, it's rigged. Rigged. I'm calling it right now. Shit's rigged. Shit's rigged, dude. If that's the way it happens, we get some ass whomping like that, 38-24. Go fuck yourself, Roger Goodell. Right in the booty. You know what I'm saying? Djibouti. The number 18 prediction. The Cardinals, who we talked about up here just a minute ago, are going to make things even worse for themselves. They're going to trade Budda Baker to the Lions. Okay, now we're getting juicy. I agree with that line. Obviously, the Lions' safety situation is in flux as they await to see how quickly Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph can return from injury. With the Cardinals likely heading for a rebuild year, it totally makes sense for them to be a seller, and Baker is still a great player. Unfortunately, he comes with a $14.4 million salary in 2026 and over $16 million in 2027. Additionally, Branch's return should come right around the trade deadline. So this one, feels pretty unlikely. I don't foresee that happening there for Detroit bringing in Budda Baker there. I don't. Look, yes, Budda Baker, and be honest, with Arizona being projected to be such a just a seller, just that big. They like if you were to go to Arizona, they have a big Acme plunger and they're just blowing it up. You know what I'm saying? So Budda Baker is a name that will be popping up, especially come the trade deadline. You know what I'm saying? He's a very talented player, but it does bring a little bit of a price tag. Let's be honest. It's not the $20 million range, but that's a chunk, you know. I'll see his name floated a lot at the trade deadline. Now, it makes sense for Detroit to possibly entertain the option of going after a Budda Baker in the event that Brian Branch is trending downward or Kirby is just like, knock on wood, cooked. You know what I'm saying? However, I don't like the disrespect to Thomas Harper. Thomas Harper played as a top 15 safety last year. Okay? He was like number 12. That's pretty damn good for a reject from the Raiders. Okay. We also brought in Christian Eisen, right? Who is a pretty talented safety as well. And what's his name? Bud Clark. You know what I'm saying? Chuck Clark. Whatever the safety is that we brought in. Played in, I think, Pittsburgh for a little bit. Right? Come on now. Come on. No, Baltimore. He played in Baltimore. That's where he was playing. Baltimore. You know what I'm saying? That's not a bad little stack, in the back behind Kirby and Brian. Now, if BB trends downward, Joseph, like I said, I could see maybe Budda Baker being a potential entertainment simply because he is a talented veteran player who kind of fits what we do, right? If you look at him, he's kind of in the same build as Brian Branch, And there is that Drew Petzing little spud connection, you know what I'm saying? Number 44, the Lions win the North. Bailey admits he's skeptical about Detroit's roster on defense because he's an idiot. But he's very high on the hiring of Lil Spud Drew Petzing as the team's new OC. Yes, I think that's sick. Look, I am just preparing you guys that, yes, the Lions offense and Lil Spud Drew Petzing are going to get a lot of love. But there is a man who is going to be feverishly working behind the scenes, just drawing up the most maniacal offensive passing attack you've ever seen. Mike Kafka might actually be the most impactful signing for Detroit in this entire offseason. More than Cade Mays, more than Larry Borum, more than DJ Wanham. I think that Mike Kafka is going to be able to put Jared Goff in the most excellent position to succeed. He's going to maximize his skill set. He has the luxury of having the best offensive line in football in front of him, and the luxury of having the most versatile set of weaponry to deploy onto the field. So although, yes, the offense, by all projections, should be really, really good, and Lil Spud will be getting his flowers, people do need to realize that behind the scenes, Mike Kafka is going to be doing yeoman's work. You know what I'm saying? He's going to be doing a lot of heavy lifting. You know what I'm saying? I'll be optimistic about the Lions and have them rebound and win the division with a high-powered offense that outscores its problems, Bailey writes. The Lions currently being favorites to win the division. This is a perfectly reasonable prediction. Yes, it's already ours. We're already getting fitted out for our banner. Hello, Jamie Erdahl. Look at them. She's like, hi, I'm Jamie Erdahl. Damn, she fine, though. I ain't going to lie. I love me some Jamie Erdahl from, what is it, Good Morning Football or whatever. How we doing over here, guys? Rigged. Exactly, dude. Exactly. How we doing, chat? Feels like Lions are hanging on by a thread in that division. Nah, dude, we're about to run away with it. 4 toughest games are the Bills, the Pats, the Bucks, and the Bears. Our floor is 13-4. Our ceiling is 16-1. I think our ceiling is completely undefeated. Check this out, guys. I want to show you something. Check this out. I'm going to show you my fucking, whoops, wrong way. My fucking one cat has been hanging out this whole time, and he like never stays in the office during the show. Check it out. What up, Ive? What's up, Ivor? What up, dude? What's up? Sorry. he never hangs out during the show, dude. So, sorry. I was just wanted to, I was like, dude, he's chill. Now, to be fair, like, I have a hell of a time getting him out of here at the end of the night, dude. So, like, I've been like, when I'm done with the show, I like shut the door real quick so I can like turn everything off. You know what I'm saying? And recently he's been like, oh, get fucked, and like kicking the door in, like beating it in, like, oh, I'm coming in. You know what I'm saying? And now he's just like, oh, hell no. He's like, he's on to what I've been doing, bro. He's on to what I've been doing. Now he's just like, fuck it. I'm just gonna hang out up here. I'm just gonna hang in the window, listen to my neighbor's dog screaming, yo. Bunch of dickheads. The trap game is the Panthers. That's fair, dude. Detroit's winning against the Bills. Hell yeah. Jason back. Is that how you say it? Jason. No, I've never seen. If that's how it's pronounced, I've never seen it spelled that way. That's I like that. Regardless, it will not be a walk in the park, Jason. Sam says, yep, it'll be rigged 100%. Good evening. What's up, Riley? Dude, how you doing, man? You doing good, brother? Haven't seen you in a few days, dude. Glad you're out there kicking it, dude. You know what I'm saying? I know it's hard, man, for a lot of you guys from the morning show to get over here in the night, dude. I get it, bro. I get it. I get really excited when I see you guys, though. You know what I'm saying? What's up, Steve? Lions are finished. Goff will get sacked 3-4 times a game. Well, probably not, but okay. I'd see you or that Germany game, but we tough the jet lag. The Bucks embarrass Thanksgiving. Can't expect to win all three of them. I am. Marcus Ivor Ragnar Meowson. Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. I call him Ivor, and then I said his last name was Mecton, so I just call him Dr. Mecton. Dr. Ivor Mecton. You know what I'm saying? I'll see you all out there in Cali for the Super Bowl. Mad Hatter Nation has a place to stay. Make the trip cheaper. Hell yeah, dude. That's what's up, dude. Lion's head will be back there beside the deer's head. Awesome, dude. Hell yeah. Actually, we might be making a few cosmetic changes to the studio this weekend. I got some stuff that I've been slowly acquiring, and I think it's about time to deploy it. I also got a new thumbnail design that will be launched here come the start of the season. Once we kind of get things, really underway, I got a new thumbnail design that's going up. So keep an eye out for that. Also, might be working with a friend, coworker, friend, buddy of mine, who does animation. We might be kind of kicking around some ideas about some animation stuff to do here on the channel. I don't know. We'll see what's going on. But let's check this out, guys. I don't think we've ever really watched a video from That's Good Sports. If you haven't already, or you are not already subscribed, go subscribe to That's Good Sports. He's trying to get to that 880,000 subscribers, and my guy's been at it for quite a while. to be fair, I generally watch his content more regularly during the season. A grinder, absolute grinder. Great content, though. So let's check this out. He's got a video up, a little 27-minute boy. Will the Lions ever compete again? Let's go ahead and fire this up. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, subscribe to his channel. There's a link down in the description of the video. Let's go ahead and check this out. Let's see what he's got.
The curse has lasted more than 60 years.
The Detroit Lions were on the verge of going to the Super Bowl not that long ago. When you see this play, it feels like it was a really long time ago, mostly because the guy who caught the ball has since lost his mind.
And if I'm crazy or if I'm capping, so them boys cut me today.
He looks
and
nuts.
I'll sign with the Commanders tomorrow.
But I promise you, it was only 2.5 years ago that this happened.
Boy, I'm a grown-ass man, boy.
Hey, Ayuk, that ladybug that landed on your shoe?
Before the game, a ladybug landed on my shoe. And y'all know what that means. That's all I can say, because other than that, I don't know.
Did that actually happen? Was that real?
Should even really exist?
The science fiction writer Ray Bradbury said that even stepping on a bug can alter the course of history. In this timeline, as is often the case, the bug stepped on the Detroit Lions. The 49ers advanced to the Super Bowl and lost in overtime to the Kansas City Chiefs, a team that the Lions had defeated to begin the year.
Hell yeah. Oh, God, man. Bro, that Brian Branch pick 6 against the Chefs, dude. I was like, oh, it's a special year. It's a special year. We're a special team, and he's a special boy, and I'm a special boy, and now I wear a little red nose and big floppy shoes and ride on the special boy short bus.
Let the football world know that the Lions were in fact for real. In no uncertain terms, the Lions, as good as they've become, are still very much cursed.
It really was it. It has to be it. There is a curse.
And I hate to break it to Peyton Manning, but he didn't do shit to break the curse of Bobby Lane.
Didn't do shit.
Tobin's Spirit Guide.
The one from Ghostbusters?
Correct. It says that you can actually lift a curse by using an object that a person wore. This was Bobby Lane's helmet.
First of all, that should be a Necronomicon. And second, it should be a jockstrap if you want to rid Detroit of any real demons, Peyton. Today, I, Brandon Perna, here on That's Good Sports, am going to break down why the Lions are suffering. Since that moment, the Lions have had nothing but bad luck and have been plagued by another bug, the injury bug. So make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel. We're trying to get to 900,000 subs by the time the season starts. And now we're going balls deep into the pain and suffering of the modern Detroit Lions.
Damn it. This is going to be hard to watch, fellas. Sometimes you gotta stare the devil right in the face. You gotta tell him, get behind me, Satan. You know what I'm saying?
Did you guys know it's
Nobody cares about your
talking about your
head.
testicles.
Sorry, bud. Boop.
or balls? I'm still learning where the camera is. Instead of getting that shot in the Super Bowl, which would have been the Lions' first trip in franchise history, Dan Campbell was left to face the media after blowing a 17-point lead, where he said one of the realest things I've ever heard from an NFL coach. Really, any coach, if we're being honest.
This may have been our only shot. Do I think that? No. However, I know how hard it is to get here. I'm well aware it's going to be twice as hard to get back to this point next year than it was this year. So it's hard. You want to make the most of every opportunity, and we had an opportunity and we just couldn't close it out.
He's right. We like to console losing players and teams and fans with the assurance that they'll be back, that they'll do everything to work their way back, when in most cases you do not get a second chance.
And for Joe Burrow, might not be the last time we see him in the big game. Let's go to Michelle.
This was a team whose fans were celebrating singular wins just a few years prior.
Hey, fuck you.
Man, we going all the way. All the way, baby.
He ain't wrong, though. See, this is what I'm telling you guys about how this is like the golden era of Detroit Lions football. We used to get, for real, how we finished last season, over 500, bottom of the division, we'd have been like, oh, we're legit. Think about it.
We about to celebrate. Why? Because the Lions won a game.
The door slammed shut on the Legion of Boom after the Malcolm Butler play. Cam Newton's Panthers never won another playoff game after getting to Super Bowl 50.
Who the fuck is Perna?
Joe Burrow and the Bengals haven't been back in the playoffs since they lost the 2022 AFC Championship game in Kansas City. Crazy to think about, isn't it?
Damn, that's wild.
Now, there are, of course, examples to the contrary, but more often than not, the teams who get so close just to lose have a really tough climbing back into that situation. We'll put a pin in the New England Patriots for now. The Bengals have fallen victim to poor ownership, which leads to a poorly run team, which leads to the poorest of chances of sustained dominance. I wanted to discuss the Detroit Lions because they have appeared to do almost everything right in terms of their quarterback situation, their head coach, and team personnel. They were the new coolest cats in the Lions' den.
Bobby Lane, the coolest cat in the Lions' den.
Man, why don't we still talk like that?
Late in the fourth quarter, the Lions launched another aerial bombardment.
Another
But
aerial
it still didn't matter
bombardment
for the Lions, despite doing things correctly. The Lions followed their rebuild to a T.
The Lions right now, they're rebuilding this thing from the studs up.
They acquired a very competent and underrated quarterback, plus great draft capital after trading away Matthew Stafford. They sucked in year one under Dan Campbell.
I said the Lions won a game.
And then they were competitive in year two. Remember them ushering Aaron Rodgers out of Green Bay? And then they were a contender, ready to make a run at it all in year three. Good Lord. I still remember how much energy there was for that first playoff game in Detroit against their old quarterback Matthew Stafford and the Rams. Just a ridiculously special time for a team and fan base that had been kicked around for so long.
When I went back to Detroit and they hosted their first playoff game there in however many years, that was electric. I mean, we ran out for pre-warm-ups and there wasn't a seat in the house. I mean, people were just booing the hell out of me and screaming, but it was a fun place to play.
That's where you always want to end up at the end of these rebuilds, right? But it's a pretty scary place too because it's just as fleeting as any other stage in that cycle.
Personally, I think Gibbs should go back to the 26. I think the 0 looks goofy. 0 should be on defensive players. I think Gibbs, the 26, just looks the big 2-6. Go back to 26 and the big 2-6.
Once you get on the doorstep of a championship, you either have to kick that door down, take advantage, and win that thing, or you're trying to stomp out a flaming bag of shit the immature football gods left on your doorstep and fade back into the ranks of the non-serious.
He called the shit poop.
Poop again!
He called the shit poop!
Unfortunately, that's where the Lions are teetering on right now.
Don't tell me my business, devil woman.
Season. Thanks for nothing, Terry and Arnold. This isn't the NBA where the same handful of contenders remain static for years. It's heartbreaking, but it's true. And the guy who was once laughed at for talking about biting kneecaps in his introductory press conference was more honest and forlorn than I've ever seen a coach at a podium. And his words were really true because the next year, the Lions were a wagon, a juggernaut, the best version of themselves the franchise had ever seen.
Yeah.
At least on offense.
We were fucking
they were 15
ridiculous.
and 2. They had the most explosive and fun offense to watch in the league. They earned that coveted 1 seed in the NFC. And
you know what happens is you get used to eating filet, and I'm talking to all of us, and well, everything's good, life's good, you know, but you forgot what it was like when you had nothing and you ate your fucking molded bread.
It all went down the drain over 3 hours on a Saturday
Bro, I fucking love Dan Campbell, dude.
Night
Fuck,
in the
man.
divisional round against the Commanders. If I can quote Nick Sirianni, see ya! See ya! See ya! See ya! See ya!
See ya!
They went from the opening notes of a playoff run to being felled by a rookie QB in their own building. That 2024 Lions offense led the NFL in points per game at
bye week,
33.2. Jared Goff was outgunning Josh
bye
Allen
week,
and
dude.
Patty Mahomes. Jameer Gibbs and David Montgomery Burns.
God, that was such a
were
sweet
one
play.
of the best 1-2 punches in the game.
Bro, that David Montgomery catch and run right there, where he got so low and just fucking truck stick that defender, dude, is like an ultimate highlight, bro. That is such a sick fucking play. And this stumble bum. Bro, stumble bum. Let's rewind this so we get all stumble bum. Look at that. Look how low he gets, dude.
Montgomery Burns, the defense, were one of the best 1-2 punches in the game, and Ben Johnson was the best play caller, albeit still fully clothed, in the league. And that fun-loving offense that brought you so much joy all year.
Jameson Williams has it. Looking to throw it. Going to throw it downfield. Intercepted!
Yep, even that went sour and turned back into a pumpkin thanks to 3 Jared Goff interceptions and a Jameson Williams pick to ice that shit Sunday. In a way, the Lions really had bucked the trend and earned their way back into real contention despite everything their head coach had said a year prior.
This may have been our only shot.
They had constructed a great roster built for a Super Bowl window, in part because they went against the grain at quarterback, went against the grain in coaching and in the draft, but that defense.
That's how you fucking set trends, dude. You fucking set trends, dude.
Had to fight a war of attrition against the dreaded injury bug. The 2024 Lions defense was much like the secondary of the 2025 Lions, dealing with more injuries than a medic in Vietnam. I mean, this was the only guy who could eliminate receivers for the Lions by the end of 2025.
Oh, my gosh. And that not going to have great consequences for the Steelers and Metcalf.
The most devastating blow, though, in 2024 came when superstar edge rusher Aiden Hutchinson fractured his fibula and tibia that sidelined him for the rest of the season. And we thought that he might make it back to the Super Bowl if the Lions had advanced, but that went out the window. Also, looking back at his leg injury, there's no fucking way we should have believed he could return for the Super Bowl. How dangerous would that have been? Losing a Pro Bowl cornerstone changed the entire dynamic of the Lions' pass rush.
Bro, he ain't wrong. Yo. Oh, my God. We're so dumb to think that Hutch could come back. Dude. He snapped his fucking leg in half. All of it. All of it. Oh, it was just hanging on by meat, dude. Blech. Gross.
Rush, forcing the front office to scramble and trade for Zadarius Smith to find a spark. The defensive front was hit by a domino effect of bad luck as Marcus Davenport, John Kaminsky, and Kyle Pecco were all lost to IR early in the year, leaving the team heavily reliant on rotational players and practice squad elevations. And the linebacking core didn't fare much better. By the time the latter stretch of the season arrived, Detroit was operating without nearly all of its top off-ball linebackers. Alex Anzalone missed a crucial chunk of games on IR, while Derek Barnes, Jalen Reeves-Maybin, and Malcolm Rodriguez all suffered pretty significant injuries that severely tested the depth of the defense. I mean, look at this chart. It's fucking crazy. It looks like a crime scene. It was all pretty gruesome, too. It didn't feel like a systemic issue that year. There were no electrical substations nearby, so to speak of. Jack Campbell collided with Amik Robertson and broke his arm. Alex Anzalone also broke his arm when a teammate came in to make a tackle. Aleem McNeil tore his ACL, and in December, the Lions had an alarming 21 players on IR. 8 defensive linemen, 4 linebackers, and 4 in the secondary. Jesus! The same freak-ass misfortune showed up when Carlton Davis broke his jaw on a tough tackle attempt. You know, that's why I thought they wear face masks, but what do I know? And you had Aiden Hutchinson suffering his horrific leg injury. Khalil Dorsey broke his ankle after getting caught up in a tangle of legs.
I forgot about Khalil Dorsey breaking his ankle.
The Lions, though, they had done everything right to avenge that heartbreaker in Santa Clara, but the fates just kept pushing them back down, and the secondary caught in the...
This is why I don't do just videos. This is why I do live shows. I hate when I can see their eyes moving across the fucking script. I don't like scripted content. I don't like it. It's too TV, man. I like if you're gonna be a scripted content, you know what I'm saying, dude. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. Yeah, still good content though. But I just, you know what I'm saying.
Storm as well. Rookie corner Ennis Rakestraw struggled to stay on the field and ended the season on IR. While veteran Carlton Davis, who was kind of struggling, missed some late season games.
What's up, Dad? How you doing tonight, man?
Safety Ifitu Melanfonwu spent the vast majority of the year on the shelf as well, despite finishing
Kane,
7th
this
in
is triggering
points
for
allowed
everyone.
during the
Sorry,
regular
it's
season.
dude.
The sheer volume of missing pieces eventually caught up to the Lions. Aaron Glenn became a shoo-in for a head coach because he did so well with the pieces that were at his disposal. It's pretty crazy that with a mostly healthy Jets defense, his team couldn't get a single pick in 2025 after what he did with the Lions defense. The Lions defense started as a pretty competent and complementary unit, but ended as a bare cupboard that eventually just came crashing down
875 players on
team
IR
that was capable of tilting the field as well as the Lions offense. The losses didn't stop on the field though, right? The departure of their 2 top-tier coordinators following the 2024 season ended up being a significant turning point for the Lions. Both Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn pretty much waltzed into head coaching roles in New Chicago. Johnson, the architect of that spectacular offense, stuck around a season longer than anyone expected, but finally accepted the coaching job for the rival Bears. And a season later, it appears that he is every bit the genius people made him out to be. Aaron Glenn, the head coach of the New York Jets,
neither one of them are that good.
Well, you know, it's not really going well there, but he's still there. He's still there. Ben Johnson returning in 2024 after everyone assumed he'd be leaving, only for his NFL's best offense to fall short, adds greatly to the sting of the
best offense that had an overinflation of takeaways by the defense, because Kirby Joseph had 9 interceptions that year, and he's one of the best safeties to historically play in the NFL. Only one player has ever had more interceptions than Kirby Joseph over that same span of years, and that is Ed Reed.
The Lions and who they have been historically. That sudden shift naturally triggers concerns about the brain drain phenomenon that happens with good teams. And now the continuity of the schemes that propelled Detroit into Super Bowl contention was and still is in question to an extent, but the organization has done a nice job mitigating the impact of those losses of Johnson and Glenn, at least on offense. On the offensive side of the ball, the team appointed John Morton as offensive coordinator. The team finished the 2025 season 6th in expected points, which isn't a huge drop-off from the year before when they finished 3rd in that category. Where they did suffer that drain was the run game. The attack that was so good in 2024 was Sonic and Knuckles.
We know why. It's because John Morton, sorry, no offense, Johnny Morton. John Morton, little fucking Johnny Mo screens, dude. Just hated David Montgomery. He fucking hated him, dude.
Started to fall off a bit. In 2024, they were 6th in rushing EPA. A year later, they dropped all the way down to 24th. Jared Goff responded with an unheralded type of season in 2025, but the team as a whole just fell apart after their bye in Week 8. The Lions were 5-2 and finished 4-6 in the last 10 games. All of those struggles resulted in the termination of that new OC, John Morton, which means Ben Johnson's successor was a one and done. And now they're staring down the barrel of a real play-calling predicament with new coordinator Drew Petzing. If you want a real
Lil Spud
indication that the Lions' fortunes were starting to slip out of their hands, I think it's helpful to look at the 4th down numbers, because that naked aggression had been Dan Campbell's calling card ever since he took the job. They were 4th best in the NFL in 2024, converting 69% of their 4th downs. And a year later, in 2025, they dropped to the middle of the pack. Certainly not the worst, but they lost the thing that teams feared about having to play.
They lost the surprise factor.
Play Detroit. that they were going to use all 4 downs against you, and eventually you were just going to break because they were.
It's just expected that we were going to do it now. It wasn't like, oh, will they? And they're just like, just prepare for it. They're NFL teams. They watch tape. They know what's going on. They prepare for everything. And when you do something over and over and over and over again, they're going to start to prepare for it. They're going to just say, fuck it. We're not even going to send a punt team out there.
They were relentless. They went 0 for 5 on 4th down against the Eagles and a 1-score loss in November in a true live by the sword, die by the sword situation. And they did not live. They essentially committed Sudoku with that sword. Yes, Sudoku. A game so hard you decide to end yourself by way of sword.
Yo, admittedly, fucking Hatton Boobs does that shit in the paper every fucking week. Psh, she crushes that shit. I don't understand that Sudoku shit. She just fucking I'm like, whatever, dude. Fucking brainiacs. Y'all brainiacs do that Sudoku shit. I don't know what the fuck that shit is. Sudoku? Sudoku, who are you?
Still, much better than this clip I found of them spiking the ball on 4th down to end their 1997 wildcard loss to the Buccaneers.
It was 4th down.
4th down.
He couldn't do that. The game's over.
He did it. It was a mistake. The game's over.
And some people actually wonder why Barry
What's
Sanders
up, Detroit
decided
Sports
to
Talk?
hang
How
it
you
up
doing,
early.
man?
We talked about the brain drain, but at the end of the day, the 2025 Lions were still absolutely effed in the anal zone by injuries on the defensive side of the ball. It's another bloody crime scene to look at, this time with some piss mixed in. Some of that questionable piss, the safety position, which had been a defensive strength, a definitive strength. It became the biggest area of concern for the Lions. All-pro safety Kirby Joseph was limited to just 6 games due to a lingering knee injury in 2025. A massive loss considering his role as...
He will be fine. He will be absolutely fine. Kirby Joseph's coming back. 12 interceptions this year.
Lingering knee injury in 2025. A massive loss considering his role as one of the best interceptors of passes around the league. Compounding that disaster, Tom Grossi's favorite and extremely versatile defensive back, Brian Branch, suffered a devastating Achilles tendon injury late that wiped out his late season availability and is unfortunately likely going to bleed into this upcoming 2026 season. DJ Reed, who the Lions smartly brought in to replace Carlton Davis, only played in 11 games. Detroit's secondary just hasn't been right since they drafted Jeff Okudah 3rd overall in 2020. Hell, they've drafted elite talent like Darius Slay and Quandre Diggs, who fell victim to the Matt Patricia era. I'm not even going to focus.
I will never forgive Matt Patricia for what he did to the Detroit Lions. I know this is pretty harsh. I genuinely fucking hate Matt Patricia. Like, my eyelid is twitching just thinking about him right now, dude. That motherfucker came in and set our fucking franchise so far back. So far back. That fucking piece of shit.
Focus on offense all that much, but of course
Fucking
Sam
eyelid
Laporta
won't
got
stop
hurt.
twitching.
David Montgomery is now gone after his usage sort of nosedived. And then there was Frank Ragnow in that situation where he retired before the season at age 29, and he was one of the best centers in the game. He tried to return halfway into the year and failed his physical. The thing that was the foundation of Detroit's success, their offensive line, which Dan Campbell and GM Brad Holmes masterfully constructed, started to fall apart. Ragnow's gone for good, Graham Glasgow was cut, Dan Skipper retired, and Taylor Decker got the boot as well.
Glasgow and Skipper didn't fucking matter. Ragnow was fucking torn to shreds. And let's be fucking real about Titty Decker. He was never really that goddamn good.
None of that sounds...
He was slightly better than Jeff on my Bacchus. Okay? If Jeff on my Bacchus is the high water mark and Taylor Decker was slightly better than him, good, congratulations. You're the smartest kid on the fucking short bus. Get the fuck out of here, dude. All we need to know is the fucking the now post Taylor Decker era is heavily anchored for the next fucking 30 years by Penei Sewell, okay? And we got Penei Sewell 2.0 and Balake Miller. Taylor Decker was never really that goddamn good. He was just a little bit better than Jeff on my Backus. Woo!
Sounds all that good, but back to the 2025 defense, okay? Up front, the interior and edge rush continued to suffer as players like Marcus Davenport faced another injury-plagued year, and depth pieces like Daniel Thomas landed on IR, and finally, the quarterback room took equally heavy hits. I mentioned DJ Reed, right? He missed significant time midseason, and their 2024 first-round corner, Terrion Arnold, was forced into injured reserve late in the schedule, and he was struggling on the field. Oh yeah, what's Terrion Arnold up to? Oh right, he's not even on the fucking team anymore because he got arrested and is facing real prison time for armed robbery and kidnapping. He's currently a free agent after clearing waivers. Why hasn't anyone picked him up yet? Why didn't anybody claim him? Now, we don't have word on whether or not he'll be rejoining the podcast with Pat Surtain.
The type of people that you have around you, like, you should really just watch your crowd.
I think I'd prefer PS2 to find a better influence to co-host with him moving forward. I'm available, Pat. Imagine our show.
Who the fuck is Perna?
Now, I've covered the Terrion Arnold story in great detail, and there's still a lot to play out there. But factor in that the Lions had to cut their first-round corner after just 2 seasons because of a kidnapping, on top of the fact that that unit was the most injured in the league, and won't be fully healthy to start this season. And what is the word for that yet?
There is a curse.
Nick Saban wrote a letter on Terrion Arnold's behalf for his court appearance. A character letter, noting how highly he thought of Terrion Arnold. Arnold passed the character test.
While I'm not overly familiar with our education on the educated on the charges he is facing and understand the seriousness of the situation before the court, I would respectfully ask the court to take into account my experience with Terrion, his character, history, and positive impact he had on our program. Wow, Nick Saban. I've always believed he leads with genuine care for the people around him. I have welcomed Terrion into my home and around my family. He was consistently treated my family and staff with respect, humility, and kindness. In all the time I have known him, he never once gave me cause to question his conduct, his integrity, or his respect for others. I don't ever recall him being involved in any behavior that would be described as aggressive or irresponsible. Oh, all right, Nick Saban. But, not to be that guy, a lot of your players end up being fucking dirtbags, dude. So, I'm just saying.
Tests with flying colors through the draft process, so there's no way anyone in the football world outside of Tony Romo, known psychic, could have predicted what Arnold would allegedly orchestrate in terms of a robbery and kidnapping in a vengeance plot. Furthermore, Nate Wiggins, Cooper DeJean, and Kamari Lassiter, all drafted after him, have been much better players on the field. This is not a depth chart you want to see for your secondary to start a season. In fact, I'll just call it a chart.
Oh, come on. Christian Eisen is not that fucking bad, dude. And I'm sorry, but Thomas Harper is fucking sweet. Dude, get the fuck out.
I don't see any depth. I know it's still the offseason, but this is not getting better.
Also, y'all just fucking wait. Y'all just goddamn wait. Y'all just goddamn wait. Jason Sehorn 2.0 is on our roster. His name is Dan Jackson out of the University of Georgia. He's about to light shit up during the preseason in camp. Y'all just wait now. Jason Sehorn, little Sehorn, the little Sehorn's coming. You just wait.
Before week 1. We don't know if and when the safeties are going to be healthy, but I do not feel good about heading into the season with just DJ Reed, Rock Ya-Sin, and Roger McCreary starting at corner.
That
sounds like you're going
I
to
do.
get
I feel
abused
fucking
heavily.
great about it. No offense, Brandon Perna. You haven't been paying attention to how good these players actually are. Also, Keith Abney.
And even with Terrion Arnold back there, had he not been pulling the strings allegedly on a violent crime, that might still have been the case.
just watch your crowd.
When you piece all of these moving parts together, the prognosis for the Detroit Lions' upcoming season leans heavily on whether Dan Campbell's team can withstand an unprecedented amount of friction. The roster is entering the season with another completely overhauled coaching structure on offense.
Where
newly hired OC Drew Petzing and new passing game coordinator Mike Kafka will try to recapture a level of schematic wizardry that John Morton couldn't quite sustain after Ben Johnson left.
Look, I'm sorry, but John Morton is fucking retarded. He's a retarded person. Okay? Look, the reality is we should have gotten a fucking a pick for signing and hiring John Morton, okay? Clearly, we were just doing a Make-A-Wish thing for a retarded kid, okay? He was retarded. Now we got masterminds. We got brilliance. Lil Spud and Mike Kafka. Pinky and the maniacal brain are going to go absolutely bananas. Bonkers. It's going to be a bonanza in the Big 2-6. You just fucking wait.
And that's quite the dynamic ball duo when you think about it.
Dig the in. Dig the in. No one's coming to save us. Make some plays. Let's go.
And if that's not enough, a massive wave of youth on the offensive line following the departure of those reliable veterans like Decker, Skipper, and Glasgow. If the newly inserted
Glasgow was not reliable.
Young blockers like rookie Blake Miller struggled to hit the ground running,
He won't.
Jared Goff could find.
We signed Larry Borum, who the last 8 weeks of the season in the 2025 year for Miami was a top 10 tackle. He's going to be just fine. Do not worry about what we're doing on our offensive line.
Find himself operating with a much cloudier pocket than he has ever been accustomed to in Detroit. And if you want Jared Goff to operate like Jared Goff, and you don't want other teams beating Goff all over the place, blinding all of his skill players with his spray, you have to keep him clean. I think he's a terrific quarterback.
That narrative is statistically inaccurate. Jared Goff is one of the best quarterbacks at avoiding pressure.
When things are going well, when he's protected around him. But he's got to have a well-maintained pocket, or else he's just not the same guy at the position, if we're being very honest.
No, you're not being honest. You're being statistically inaccurate. I'm sorry. Anecdotal evidence does not supersede hardline data. I don't give a fuck about how you feel. Statistically, Jared Goff does not need a perfect pocket. He is one of the best quarterbacks at avoiding pressure. Oh my God, fucking stats do not support that argument.
In the second half of the 2025 season, this looks to me like a team that's on the decline, as unfortunate as that is to say.
Oh, well, he's a fucking Broncos fan, and Bo Nix has a shattered ankle, so, whatever.
If they are going to vault
it's just projection, dude. He's just projecting because he knows what's going to happen to the Broncos and Sean Payton.
Themselves back into competition, it's going to be as a new iteration of the Lions. I think the one we saw blow a shot at the Super Bowl in 2023 and get stunned in 2024 at home is effectively gone. Dead like that ladybug on Brandon Ayuk's foot.
So them boys cut me today.
Dead like Rodney Dangerfield and tragically Jonathan Brandis from the movie Ladybugs.
If I can bring home a winning team, I'll get that promotion. Then your mother and I can get married.
In other words,
that's a
still
fucking reference
cursed.
Right there.
The window opened, it's shut, and now the Lions have to open a new one. I believe Dan Campbell can do it. Plenty of the initial failure was their own doing, I suppose, but they suffered insane casualties on defense, and they got their brain trust poached, which usually happens after you actually win the Super Bowl. You can live with that when you win it all. It's how that works, but they only got to taste the bitter and not the sweet. And that's kind of the best way to sum up the Dan Campbell Detroit Lions so far, isn't it? And of course, we'll actually be able to tell if the Lions curse is real if Terrion Arnold is fully exonerated, signs with another team, and goes on to have one of the longest and most successful careers of a defensive back ever. Should there be hope?
gonna
Yeah,
happen.
not when curses are involved. But good luck, Detroit. You know I'll be rooting for you.
Thanks, bud. Appreciate the good luck. Look up Dose of Dion, YouTube line kind of creator. Breaks down the film in 5 minutes. Thinks UDFA corner could make the team. Hell yeah, dude. That's what's up, dude. I like Dose of Dion. Lattimore, Detroit makes a lot of sense. Lattimore's actually pretty washed up, though, dude. You got so upset with Patricia, your camera blurred. Bro, I fucking hate Matt Patricia, dude. That dude is a shit stain. He's a shit stain on the entire fucking franchise of the He's a shit stain on the NFL. All right. Matt Patricia can go and kick all of the rocks while wearing flip-flops and go fuck himself completely to the moon, dude. You know what I'm saying, dude? Like, fuck Matt Patricia, bro. Matt Patricia and Karen Rodgers are related. Well, yeah, dude, because that makes sense. That makes sense why Matt Patricia is so retarded. He's clearly inbred. Well, guys, that has to be it for the rest of tonight. I appreciate each and every one of you who took the time to come hang out with me tonight on a Friday night. Watching a little That's Good Sports. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel if you're new here. Turn that notification bell on so you can be notified every single time we go live Monday through Friday, 7 to 8 p.m. right here at YouTube, Rumble, and Kick. Remember, tomorrow, rookies are reporting, and then it's just a couple of days until training camp is completely underway, which means that we are going to have news to talk about. We're going to have things to talk about, things to discuss, camp battles that will ultimately mean nothing outside of a few key positions. But pay attention to DJ Wanham's production, Balake Miller's production, and how well Thomas Harper ascends throughout the training camp period. Guys, you know I'm going to be rooting for Keith Abney as well. Have a good rest of your night. Stay out of trouble. Enjoy the weekend. Don't do anything I wouldn't do until Monday at 7 p.m. I'm James with the Hat and Beard Show. You've been an attentive audience. We'll catch you then. Banga banga. Frig off. Dude.